The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke. Jesus said to his disciples, "I have come to set the earth on fire, and how I wish it were already blazing. There is a baptism with which I must be baptized, and how great is my anguish until it is accomplished. Do you think that I have come to establish peace on the earth? No, I tell you, but rather division. From now on, a household of 5 will be divided, 3 against 2 and 2 against 3. A father will be divided against his son, and a son against his father, a mother against her daughter, and a daughter against her mother, a mother-in-law against her daughter-in-law, and a daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law." The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
Well, that was quite uplifting, isn't it? And I think this is one of those great moments that we find so often in our scriptures, and that I actually quite like to preach about, is that we've got something here from the very mouth of Jesus that doesn't really make sense. It seems like Jesus is telling us the wrong thing. How on earth could he not be coming? The Prince of Peace is not coming to bring peace, but division? What's going on? And I think so often we can get so caught up and say, oh, well, see, that's clearly a sign that Jesus didn't really know what he was talking about, because clearly that's not the right thing. And then I take a look around, and then I take an account of how the world is going right now, and seeing quite literally father against son, mother against daughter, brother against brother, and so on and so forth. The world is hurting right now. And I think the wisdom of Jesus is recognizing that it's not just, okay, I have to take care of me and my own, but he's telling us to be careful about how we understand what it means to be a human being. Because I think we so often forget that it's not just my birth parents or my birth siblings that I have to be mindful of. It's my brothers and sisters across the globe, across the planet. Everybody is in this family. Everybody shares a part in that wonderful sonship and daughtership that Christ has gained for us by his blood that he shed on the cross. And if we're not willing to accept that, and we quite often don't, so often in our worlds, when we're not willing to accept that, well, we see what happens. Division, war, strife, famine, all of these bad things happen because we can't see the person sitting quite literally next to me as my brother, as my sister, as my mother, as my father. And it's not just that so that we can find this kind of humanism that we can say, oh, well, God is in every person and that's just good enough to be nice to people. That's not what Jesus is saying either. It's not good enough, as I've said before, just to be good enough. He's not giving us a system of ethics here. He's telling us to go further than just being a good person, to being a great person, to being an excellent person, to being exactly who God has created us to be, that he knows that we can be, that we all know that we can be. There's so much more for us to do, for us to be. All we have to do is to want it. All we have to do is accept, as we hear in our Alleluia verse from St. Paul's letter to the Philippians, that everything else is rubbish. Everything is rubbish, so that I may gain Christ and be found in him.